So it's Footy Focus Podcast 1, Season 2.
Hi, guys.
Very delayed season opening. So we've had a back by popular demand. I think one of your mates asked to come back on. So that's popular demand by our standards. So
so we'll do the review of round 1. Do you want to start off with the first game?
I can't even remember.
No, I'm just kidding. So it's been a weird year. Ben Cunnington got advanced hair. Did you see that?
No, I did not see that. So we're going to do a deep dive on his hairline, or?
Yeah. Well, you can do that. You're the hairline expert.
So what have you been doing in the downtime? Wi-Fi looks okay.
We're trying to do this on Skype, so there might be a bit of technical difficulties throughout the next half an hour or so. We'll do the best we can. Yeah, it's been good to not visit the AFL website every hour, so I'm only doing it about 3 times a day.
I mean, it's okay.
Yeah, I've watched the Kangaroos second half against St Kilda about 5 or 6 times because we were rubbish in the first half. We were losing, and then we came back to win. So if we hadn't have won that game, it would have been even worse.
So who's top of the ladder at the moment?
Yeah, Paul, you'd make an argument that we should just give you guys a premiership. There's no season. Would you be happy with that?
That'd be a pretty hard case to mount after one game. Maybe after double-digit games, but just enjoying one. We're top of the ladder for the first time since 2004, I think. So 16 years. So
you think Ken Hinkley is up for coaching next year after that? Good start to the year.
Yeah, they're doing his contract extension as we speak, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I normally listen to like a lot of podcasts at work, and I see on like the footy side they're doing the recalls of grand finals and famous games.
Yeah. Countdown.
I haven't listened to too much of that, but yeah, there's definitely content. Like even Footy Classifieds on twice a week. There's
twice a week, really? I haven't seen an episode.
I've seen clips. I mean, there's still obviously Sunday Footy Show. Like there's still stuff going on. Fox Footy have like a daily program every day with like guests. So they're finding definitely enough content to go on.
Probably still a bit of a demand for anything footy.
Yeah.
I do miss the analytical side and reviewing and previewing.
Yeah. Well, I think we probably timed the season opener well because I think we'll find out fairly soon when the teams get told to get back to pre-season, and I guess when the first game will be, or round 2.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that. So at the moment they're proposing hubs. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I think that was the last I heard. When was it? This morning, I think it was.
So that's sort of like having a town or a building where the players are based, and they don't leave that environment to play games, essentially.
Yeah, well, it can't be in Victoria, surely, because there's still cases every day here, like South Australia and Western Australia. Surely would be the best options, because I think those states have restrictions. I think South Australia had 10 days in a row of no cases, so surely it's got to be, at the risk of upsetting Vic fans, it's got to be, it can't be here.
I don't know if that's your South Australian bias coming out. You just want the next 20 games to be in Alberton.
Well, that's true. Well, Northern Territory maybe as well as the compromise, but I think Western Australia and South Australia are the best, not the best performing, but they're doing the best. I mean, whether you can do it in Gold Coast or Brisbane too, I'm not sure whether there's the stadiums to do that, but I mean, there's not going to be no crowds anyway, surely, so maybe you don't need the stadiums.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think Gold Coast is a chance because they'll have facilities, I suppose. Like if they probably have like a district where it's touristy. So at the moment there's no tourists, so they can just have all the players and staff there and play games at grounds which don't need stands or anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Mornington's been thrown up in Victoria as a location, but there might be a couple of locations, and then they might do a switch like every 6 weeks just to even it up, if that's possible.
Yeah, so to play devil's advocate, what happens if one person in that hub tests positive? Does the whole thing get shut down again?
Yeah, this is one of the complications. So if
Yeah.
one person tests positive, you'd have to think so, right? At least for 2 weeks. Is that the rule? I don't
Yeah.
know. The rules keep changing. Yeah, I don't know. There is a lot of issues with the hub rule, especially the families. What do you think about that? No families allowed, or
Yeah, good segue. I think so I definitely feel for the players who don't have family support, like players that have relocated interstate and they just, I don't know, have a wife and, I don't know, a kid or a couple of kids and they got no extended family support. I mean, you'd like to think they'd move back with their family while the player's away, but yeah, some families would have more support than others, so you wouldn't want to, I guess, leave the partners just by themselves caring for kids. So you'd want to make sure everyone's got some kind of support, but I think some of the players wouldn't be keen. Like I couldn't see 100% of the players going to hubs if families weren't allowed or partners weren't allowed.
it's difficult for like players that have had kids recently. Like I know in the Kangaroos, Todd Goldstein had another kid, so yeah, to him to leave his family and go to the Gold Coast for like a month or so, going to be difficult. They might not do it, right?
Yeah, well, like I said, I couldn't see 100% of players signing up. Like you'll still have enough players to make a competition, but
Is that what fans want to see? Like a half?
well,
Competition?
that's the thing. I don't know. Like I think the latest that you could probably have the grand final is what, New Year's Eve, but I think they want to finish it all before the racing season. So that's what, October, November. So it's, yeah, they're gonna be tough to squeeze it all in. So
Yeah, I don't know. As a fan, my position is that they should write the season off. If there was no commercial
yeah,
driver to this, I would be in the boat of just writing it off. If we can, maybe squeeze in 2 seasons next year.
yeah,
But yeah, just an asterisk of a season. But I know the commercial side plays a massive role in like
yeah.
the NFL decides. Yeah, what about you? Do you want to see if Richmond, who are the Premiership favourites, if they go to the hub, guys with young families, like all the senior core, if half of those guys don't turn up, will a Premiership still be? I think as Premiership would be awesome anyway, but will
Yeah,
it be meaningful?
I think this season more than most would have an asterisk next to it. But like for me, I think the season, like the proposal to come down to 17 games, which every team plays each other once, like that's a good byproduct of all this COVID stuff. But you wouldn't want to have a situation where it's like an 8 game season and then there's a winner declared after a final series, or you have a 2 week final series. Like you wouldn't want it to get compromised too much. If it gets to that stage, then yeah, you kind of maybe not call the season off. I mean, still play the games, but you can't really have a premiership after 8 home and away games or whatever it is. So I think the minimum's probably play each other once and then a 4 week season. But yeah, like I said, like you can't start a competition while there's still cases going on, and then obviously even if you do a competition, you're squeezing in what, 2 or 3 games a week.
Yeah, they're gonna play more than the average game and shorter games as well.
Now, what do you think about the list sizes? You think they should cut it down or increase it depending on?
Because of the massive debt the clubs and the
Sure.
FL will face. Yeah, they probably should trim it down, but maybe go from 45 to 43 next year. Just do it in, do it like a couple of players at a time until you get the list down to like
Yeah,
38 or 39 players, maybe.
yeah,
Because that would then allow the quality of skills and the quality of the players and the general play to increase.
yeah,
And the other benefit is that in 5 or 6 or 7 years' time, we might be able to introduce another team or another 2 teams into the competition. What about you? Do you have an opinion on this?
yeah. I think that's probably a good suggestion. Just gradually ease it down. You couldn't go from 45 to 35 in one season. But I think like this season, you won't be able to take your full squad to the hub if it goes ahead. You'd have to take a reduced number, whether that's 35 or I don't know, 38 or whatever it is. But
35. So if they take 35, and then they'd want to rotate more players
yeah,
more. If they only have 5 or 6 day breaks, and
yeah,
if a few get injured, then you're reducing that 35 to potentially 30.
Because I
Well,
guess
it doesn't make sense, does it? Surely that should be able to take the whole squad.
yeah, well, I guess part of the hub is if you bring a squad in, you don't want to bring other players in because the whole point of it is to keep the numbers as is. You don't want to bring people in outside the hub because that's, I don't know, causing health risks and stuff. So yeah, I don't know, because I think they're trying to limit the number of essential people per club, and I think there was talk of about 50. And if there's 45, obviously there's less assistant coaches, but yeah, it's, I don't know. I think definitely comes a point where call the season off, but you can't see that happening with all the.
Which teams do you think this break would advantage, if any?
Yeah, I like the. Well, it's not so much a team; it's more a coach. I think the Clarko one's a good suggestion because I think he's by far the best coach in the comp, and you can see him just going away using this period just to develop some strategies. I mean, you're going to have a reduced time limit for games anyway, probably less players, a faster pace. So, I'll pick Hawthorn. I'd say the other team is probably Brisbane.
Interesting.
So they've got a fairly young list. So I can see their list being able to back up, I guess, better than most clubs playing 2 or 3 games every week or one game every 4 or 5 days. How about you?
Yeah, a lot of unknowns, yeah, just because you don't know what shape the players are going to come back in because they're not allowed to train as a group.
Well, that's the other thing too. Got to factor that in as well.
Any team that had sort of injuries in the preseason, like I think Essendon and even Kangaroos, Collingwood, I think these teams had a bit of injuries, so those players get a bit more time. Yeah.
Well, Collingwood, I think Trelaw's probably he'd probably still be out injured. Like he might be back first week back. Even Matty Cruiser from Carlton, who got, I think it's normally a 4-month injury.
I think Hurley and Hooker were another two that were injured.
Well, they wouldn't have played round 2 too. So he'd probably say Essendon, like you said. They got the 2 bookends down back fit now.
I think the Dogs and West Coast are 2 teams that this break doesn't advantage. It does them a disservice just because they went and got experienced players last year at the trade. Tim Kelly, Josh Bruce, these sort of guys. So yeah. Any player that's about in their prime, it's pretty bad.
That's the thing. You not wasted 2 months, but yeah. I mean, Richmond team before. I mean, they were probably overwhelming favourites. Maybe GWS as well. Like they were probably the top 2 teams or contenders anyway, and they've lost, I guess, 2 months of possible momentum. You want to move on to your former coach?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that a bit? Or maybe so Dean Laley was arrested maybe on Sunday or Saturday night for stalking and a few other charges in St Kilda. So since then, it's come out that he's got sort of mental health. I don't know if that's confirmed, but he's got drug issues and he got arrested.
Yeah, I think it's clearly the breach of privacy is the main one. I think it was a senior constable that took a photo of him. His mugshot got released as well as him in the interrogation room. So obviously that's where I guess the wider public find out about, I guess, his lifestyle. Now, I think he sent it to a WhatsApp group with colleagues, and a few of them obviously sent it to others, and then it's got to the media. So I think the original one that sent it had been stood down with pay though. The with pay part, I don't understand because it's. I mean, if it's proven that he's done it, it's not really a punishment, is it? It's like. Well, it's like annual leave, right? It's paid leave, essentially.
It's like James Fed when he got suspended. He got paid for that whole year. He got I don't know how that works.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cop out. I think. I mean, for sure he should have got fired. I mean, if it's proven, obviously, but he should have got fired and no pay and whatever benefits I guess police members get, whether it's a pension or whatever it is. Like he shouldn't be entitled to that. That's because you got to think about, I guess, Dean's family, his kids, like he's got kids, parents, extended family, and all those type of things. Like a lot of them might have found out through the paper, which is, I mean, disgraceful's got thrown around this week as a word, but it's definitely one of the more disgraceful things I've seen anyway.
Yeah, and then the Herald Sun publishing these photos. Like, what does that say? Public acceptance of community. They're thinking it by doing that.
Yeah, I think the inclusivity point is a good one for sure. I think the mental health part, like I think or what I read today, he's trying to enter into a mental health facility. So clearly there's some underlying issues there. And I'll touch on Ricky Nixon too. So I think he's the ex-manager of Dean, if I've got that right. But he tweeted something along the lines of when the news broke, I think if only people knew what I knew, they'd be surprised, which, I mean, coming from him, it doesn't mean much anyway, but he's had his own issues too. So to, I guess, speculate or throw some things out there, it's a breach of confidentiality, surely, even though he's not the manager anymore. I found that to be not as bad as the police officer, but one of the other shocking things I saw. So wish him all the best, I guess, and hopefully him and his family get the privacy. Probably, I think they deserve.
Okay, moving on from Dean Lately, if the season is cancelled, one of the other reasons why I wouldn't mind is that because of the draft, and if there is a draft, and they base it on last year's ladder, there's a chance, the Kangaroos might get a high pick.
Well, what was the pick swap you guys made with the D's last year? You get an extra first rounder. I think they.
Yeah, it was pretty much the D's first rounder this, and a second rounder last.
Yeah.
And they got Pickett with it. He had a good game, by the way.
Pickett. He looks like he'll be pretty special. Because obviously, we're talking about a compromised season. I mean, this year's drafts, probably, more compromised than even when the expansion teams came. I think there's something like 17 players that are tied already to clubs.
Yeah, they're tied, but that's also been blown out of proportion a bit. Out of those 17, I think only maybe 3 or 4 are considered top, like first rounders, essentially.
So what's the is it a 20% discount? Is that correct for
getting into the point system?
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially, the club bids at a player and he's worth pick 6. If they bid on him at pick 6, they can get him at pick 8 or something. So that's how that works. But like you said, it is compromised in another way, where recruiters aren't seeing the players play their 20 games or whatever. They're going to see a little, like a snapshot potentially in September, October.
I mean, I think all recruiting lists are pretty good, as in all recruiting teams from the clubs are all good, but you probably see the cream rise to the top because, as you said, it's harder to scout players this year.
Yeah.
I think I was reading the Cats. The Cats, I think, have 3 first rounders this year because obviously the Tim Kelly trade last year, and there's Roos, Crows, and the Lions at 2 each, and then D's, Port, Eagles, and GWS at none. So there's teams with 3 first rounders this year, some with 2 and some with none. So it'll be really interesting to see.
First rounders will be valuable just because there'll be a bit more of a safe bet with them.
Yeah.
I think second and third rounders might be a bit hit and miss, and then you'd find some real bargains at the.
So it might be the one of the more interesting parts of the year, the draft. Yeah, how about the future pick trades? You got an idea about how that should work as well?
I think they should stand. The next, or if they combine the 2 drafts and have one in 2021, the next should still have those future picks. They shouldn't say, this year was a write-off. We're just gonna postpone the future picks, leapfrog it 1 year. They can't do that. I listened to the AFL. They had a podcast on where the teams are at. I think Cal Toomey and Riley Beveridge did Port Adelaide. So
the Exchange podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, they talked about Ollie Wines. What do you think? for the next few years, or does he look to come back to?
Yeah, it's until he signs, I'd be leaning towards him going. But look, he hasn't played a game this season. He's still the vice captain, so
He hasn't played a game this season.
yeah, I know. Well, I'm saying,
no preseason game.
yeah, I'm trying to keep the expectations low, and if he stays, it's a bonus. So,
You don't
I'm
need him.
playing.
He hasn't played all season. You guys are on top of the ladder. Been there for 6 weeks.
He's 6 weeks. No, if we're gonna go far into any season, we need him up and running. So, yeah, it's a tough one. I think he's got this season's not a write off so far, but it's a write off so far. But you just got to see how things play out. Like he's got to get back on the field, number one. I think he should be fit now because I think he was going to come back probably week 7 or 8 at the most. So he's got to come back on the field, play well, not justify the contract, but justify him being. He thinks the highest player at the club, so he's got to get back into some form, I think, and then we can probably talk about whether it's a contract extension or him requesting a trade. It's just it's going to be tough to see what happens.
Yeah, okay.
And then Carlton might chase him because they need that big body.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to find out what really happened last year, whether it was him requesting a trade or Carlton inquiring about him or his manager maybe putting the feelers out. You're never going to get the full story until maybe once they're done playing. So,
you guys should definitely try to keep him because if Bogue only has a couple of...
Oh, yeah, you definitely want him. He's I mean, especially we're playing Sam Powell-Pepper as a pressure forward this year, so you've kind of got just Ollie and Rockcliffe in the midfield as those clearance, I guess, specialists. So it'll be interesting. But what do you reckon about Advanced Hair Studio Ben Cunnington? You think him playing in the him playing up forward is more of an option now? Ooh, don't think you can hear me. Oh yeah, starting recording.
Okay, go now.
Yeah, so I was just asking you if Ben Cunnington is an option to play first.
Yeah, I think so. With the reduced game time, I think now they're only going to play 25 minutes with no time off.
Yeah.
On the ground for, I think, 82% of the time.
Yeah.
I shifted forward and essentially was our maximum. Running has gone another level apparently from what's during preseason. So, yeah, I think that'll be a good move.
You've got a few options there. Like Zeebel's obviously, he's not your average size midfielder as well, so he's a good option up forward as well. Obviously, maybe not for the full game, but just in bursts, I guess, to break it up.
I think our forward line's probably us.
And now Zerha, Thomas, they were playing pretty good footy there as well, and Anderson, and also this kid Curtis Taylor, he was pretty good in our first game. He
only had like eight or 9 possessions, but he made those count. A few important tackles.
Do you want to maybe predict the start date for the comp resuming?
I think they're thinking June, maybe like mid-June. What's that, a month and a bit away? So it's hard to predict because you get these cases of the virus breaking out in
clusters. Yeah, well, especially where we are, Victoria as well. It's the one. They're the ones spiking in cases at the moment.
Oh yeah, I would like to see footy if it does happen. What about you? Do you want to see footy?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'll definitely miss footy. Like it's just pretty much what is it? The Last Dance at the moment. That's just 2 episodes every Monday for the MJ doc and following him through his last season at the Bulls. So didn't give much content to follow. There was the NFL draft, I think, about a few weeks ago, so I went hard on that. So it's definitely need some football soon, but obviously not at the risk of the health of everyone. But hopefully we get a season underway. I think this week's probably the first week where it's been trending towards the positive, I guess, about when players getting told to come back. I mean, that's a good sign, interstate or overseas as well. So, we'll see.
Might be getting like official word
ice fixture as well. So
Yeah. Well, I think hopefully the next pod we do, we have a start date at least, and we can start, looking forward to something.
Yeah, and all the players are hopefully on board and they can balance, they can work out some.
Yeah, compromise.
All right, cool. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah. Okay, we'll catch you soon.
Guys, yeah.